wise man once told me that, people don't care how much you know till they know how much you care.
I guess from my perspective, if it's good, it won't be easy. And if it's easy, it won't be good, right?
Yeah, real estate is a roller coaster of emotions. Markets change, situations change all the time. You deal with many personalities.
Every single person on this planet is facing some battle, whether it be small or a large one. I guess my passion lies in helping them be the best version of themselves that they can be. I love doing that.
Welcome to the One Goat and the Property Guys podcast, brought to you by Harcourt's Property Centre. I'm Sam Devlin, lead host and absolute legend of the podcast industry. I've always got Spudley Wudley, Nathan Bang Bang O'Neill and Aaron Brooks alongside me as we look to navigate real estate, life and the general business landscape as we interview people and find out if they truly are a goat or a spud. Well, back with another episode number 3.
Nathan is definitely sweating up here.
Yeah,
I didn't know if it was nerves or meat sweats.
Yeah, no, he's just had a goat vindaloo last night and he is
Oysters last week.
sweating up.
Mate, tell us about the oysters that you had last week.
Well, I thought Sunday afternoon, felt like some oysters down on the river.
Yep.
I thought the easiest place to get them was Coles down the road.
Yep.
Well, that was
Said
probably
no
one of
one
the
ever.
worst decisions I've ever made, considering Gusto's at the end of the street have happy hour. I could have just went to that. But
Oyster happy hour.
Oyster happy
How
hour.
good's that, Sammy?
No, I'm not into oysters.
Mate, you love them. Come on.
I don't.
I know. You hate them.
I just, I don't hate them.
What do you
They
think?
disagree with me.
What do you think about mushrooms?
Mushrooms? I love a mushroom.
Would you like me to make you a beef Wellington?
I think it's too soon, mate. We can't, we'll just leave the,
leave that guy.
leave
Oh,
the
really?
heavy hitting today. Yeah, we'll stay away from,
Am I going to get hate over that?
I mean, you're going to get cancelled. But who's not getting cancelled?
Nathan.
Nathan, he's the GOAT today. We're going to be inspired. But before we get underway, I'm going to flip the script a little bit just to introduce you. You've got many nicknames, Nathan. I like Junket Boy,
Loves
Spudley, Spudley Wudley,
Where's Spud?
Bang Bang.
He's at the opening of an envelope.
Yeah, most of them, let's be honest, are quite deprecating and peer given. But if we cut through all of that, who is Nathan Spudley Wudley Junket Boy Bang Bang O'Neill?
No, and you're forgetting Gadget.
Gadget, that's my favourite.
He looked like Go-Go
I
Gadget
love
back in the
Gadget.
day when he was playing footy. One of the challenges for Nathan is he's never really been into his fitness, right? And when they used to do runs, right, before the training would start, Nathan used to hide in a tree, legit fact. And then all of a sudden, when everyone was on their last run, he'd jump out of the tree and then run back with the rest of the pack and just get back there. Oh, I'm ready to go. But he was hiding in a tree the whole time.
Yeah, good. All right.
Well, they say natural ability gets you so far, and that's what I relied on, natural ability.
I was thinking how
I was
good
still
you
the quickest.
could have been.
I was still the quickest.
Were you? Yeah, mate. That's amazing. That's amazing in itself.
Yeah.
100%.
So who are you, mate? What do
Yeah.
you stand for?
Who am I? Oh, mate, I'm just a young bloke that comes from Gympie, born and bred Gympie guy.
Monkland?
No, Monkland.
Southside.
CBD Gympie. So I actually grew up in a hotel.
Yeah.
So from the day I was born till I was 16, my family had a little country hotel, and that's where I was brought up, and which was pretty exciting. Not too many people get to say they grew up in a hotel.
You haven't left one ever since, mate.
No. Is that why you do your best work?
That is why I do my best work, 100%. So I had to take some lessons of Dad, the old-fashioned publican, and felt it was my obligation to continue that skill set of being able to hold many, many beers. So,
Yeah, I mean, you lost your dad a while ago. You and I were talking about it the other day as I lost my mum as well.
Yeah.
And your relationship with your dad was on point.
Yeah.
Just a great father-son relationship.
Yeah, it was good. It was he was very supportive. He was an old-fashioned publican.
Yep.
With anyone that knows old-fashioned publicans, emotions probably not a strong point, but you sort of had a connection where you didn't necessarily need the hug or the I love yous and that, just his actions was enough.
Yeah.
Every time I had some success with sport, when I walk off the field, he was the first person I saw, and you just got a little nod of the head, and that was enough. But then he also played the mind games too about the old reverse psychology, and I always wanted to prove him wrong. So,
is that where you get it from?
well, the funny thing is, this is what I struggle with today, because I thought the reverse psychology was an amazing thing, because you go, if he says, I don't know whether you're good enough, you're like, well, no, I'm going to show you.
Sure.
I tried that on my kids growing up, and it's a different generation. So, it's a different way.
Well, I think it's very old school, right?
Yeah,
like
100%.
you and I are both pretty old school when it comes to that stuff. And I remember, playing footy and those things and copping sprays.
Yeah, 100%.
Big time. And that would be enough for me to go, right, okay, I clean my act up and be out there having a go. But now if you do that these days, everyone just kicks stones.
I found it motivating.
Yeah.
When someone gives you a spray, you're like, right, well, I'm not going to let you down. I'm not going to let you down. Let's go. But the world's changed.
It has, mate.
And
we've got to be really mindful of that.
100%. And so, grew up in Gympie town, loved it. Moved away when I was finished school. I was 17. Had a contract with the almighty Redcliffe Dolphins. So I went down there and played there for a few years. And then, as Aaron said, my father passed away of cancer. So I decided to give football up then and move home, which was a big decision, to ask for a release from my contract. But I felt it was the right decision. Not that my mother needed support. She's a very strong, independent woman. But I just felt for me, my brother and sister had to go through that journey of watching Dad pass away with cancer. And I felt I had a good time. I just wanted to go back and give something to them. And so I decided to do that, and then that led me to my real estate career.
Yeah.
Right, so AB tells the story of the 21-year-old from Gympie. Wants to start a Harcourts franchise. I think was the local Harcourts franchisee was in a bit of trouble or something? Or?
No, she was a lovely lady, Janelle. Hey, and I think she just came to me one day and said, listen, I want to sell my business and I've got a buyer. And I said, okay, that's great. Next minute, young Nathan turns up.
Right, and so, like all great startup tales, apparently began with a GE credit card.
Yeah.
That's how you started your franchise up in Gympie. So do you reckon do you still have that credit card actually?
I actually do still have a GE card.
Do you?
Really?
Yeah.
Surely you paid it off by now.
Yeah. Just 27% interest. Takes a while.
Wow.
No, still have a GE card.
Okay. And so do you reckon they made the right choice backing a 21-year-old? Both one, the franchisee who, how old were you then? 25 or something?
Probably.
So your 25-year-old CEO backed the 21-year-old. I reckon it would have been the honchos at GE that probably needed their heads read the most. But do you reckon they made the right call backing you?
Do you know what, Sammy? At 27% interest, I think they did make the right call.
Yeah.
Because it's very beneficial to them.
Yeah.
But also very motivating to me to make sure that I did do well.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to take that sort of punt,
you
want to make sure it works. But it was a good story. I remember meeting Aaron for the first time, and I knew Aaron, but as the CEO, going down for that meeting, knowing that I didn't have a cent to my name, we didn't need to go into that bit.
No, the franchise code was probably a bit different back then, was it, Aaron? Or?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
No, good.
Hey, at the end of the day,
Shout out to the guys at the franchise code of show.
I just knew that I had to get a sale in the first week, and I had money coming in 30 days' time. That's all I needed to do. And I had a certain amount that I knew I could get a cash advance on. And that's all I needed, and the rest was just self-belief.
I mean, how can you go by a young guy with a heart and wanting to have a go? Like, I made the right decision, so did he. Yeah. Like, mate, you proved in that next 12 months that you had the fortitude and the ticket to rip in there and have a go. Yeah. You didn't take a backward step, mate. Yeah. You got stuck in, and you built a legacy over these years, mate. Yeah. It's a good news story, buddy.
I think the good thing is when you don't know anything. And you're fearless.
Yeah.
That's probably the best thing. As I got older and you become more knowledgeable, you're probably not as fearless because you start realising what could go.
Analysis.
Yeah, you start realising what could go wrong. So I had
Lesson
nothing.
to be learned in that, right?
Yeah, I had nothing to lose but everything to gain. At the end of the day, I just believed in myself, and I didn't know what the journey ahead was going to be like and what the outcome would be, but I just knew that there was an opportunity, and if I could find a way to make it work, I'll make it work. Probably wouldn't recommend it to anyone else, because I had to learn a lot of lessons along the way, and a lot of tough lessons and a lot of struggles, but I would never change it, because it was an exciting ride, and to sit here now with you guys from where it started, it's pretty amazing. And some of the stories along the way is pretty phenomenal. Yeah.
All right, we'll touch on that then. We're here looking for goat-worthy advice. So you're now sitting down with young Nathaniel Jr. 21 years ago, or however long it is now, 25 years ago. What goat-worthy advice would you give to somebody? What have you learned along the way?
Probably learned not to overthink things too much, and you just got to believe in yourself. And Aaron talks about a motor and stuff like that, but if you've got a desire to want to be the best you can and a willingness, you'll find a way to make it work.
Yep.
That's the thing. And the old, like you said, bite off more than you can chew and chew like buggery. I've used that 1,000 times to myself, is you've got to back yourself and believe. Yes, sometimes you get it wrong. Recovery, as we've spoken about, is really important, but there's always a solution. Like, I know there was options. We went through many a floods in Gympie, and financially it was very crueling, and GFC was really tough, and could have broke us. And I remember having many conversations with Aaron, because I borrowed a substantial amount of money on a stupid loan on a very short period of time, and it nearly broke me.
Yeah.
And I remember wondering how the hell I'm going to get out of it. But then when you look at your family and your wife and the people that are important to you, you find a way.
Yes.
And the thing that was most important to me at that time was my mum and dad had worked really hard in Gympie to build up a great reputation, and our name meant something. And there was no way I was going to be the person to let them down as well as myself. So in the toughest times, adversity is, where champions, rise to the top. So it's not a bad thing to have a bit of adversity in your life.
Those old school values, Nath, like, when I hear you talk about the O'Neill name and your mum and dad, and like, that's valuable stuff, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And I think we were talking a while ago about just, what's most important, and you said your integrity, your values, and your moral compass is absolutely pointing in the right direction. But it's really refreshing to hear that old school type mentality of, I'm going to protect the family name, I'm going to keep working hard, I'll get knocked over, I'll get back up. You spoke about resilience once before, and clearly you've got that in abundance. So my question, I guess, is having that benchmark or bench foundation of integrity, character, those things, what do you think adds to you as a human and as a business owner on top of that base foundation of those things that are important?
One of the biggest things is giving back and the sort of person you are. Like a guy once told me, you've got to pay your community rent.
Yep.
And I didn't understand that at the time. And I went out and sponsored something straight away.
Yeah.
And he asked me how much did that cost. And I told him how much we invested. He goes, that's not what I meant. And he goes, it's easy to write a check, but what's the most valuable thing? And I said, I don't know. What do you mean? He goes, your time.
Yeah.
And he goes, so giving your time is more valuable than taking the easy option of just writing a check.
Yep.
So I've always said to people, you've got to pay your community rent and you've got to give back. And we talk about junkets and stuff like that. I attend a lot of things.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily like it.
Yeah.
I'm not an extrovert sort of person.
Yep.
I do it for a couple of things. A lot of them are charity things.
Yep.
And I just believe you have to be out there. A lot of it is you have to be an ambassador for your business. So you need to be out there. And there also is an opportunity to meet people that you want to learn from.
Yes.
And instead of trying to chase them up individually, it's probably the easiest way when they're having a few drinks that you can introduce yourself, get to know them, and then follow up. So I think all those things are really, really important. And I attend a lot of charity things because I wanted my kids to see that. I've got my kids involved in a lot of different charity things.
Yep.
So those things are really, really important because it makes up the company that you are, but also the person that you are as well. So,
Beautiful.
No, I like it.
I'm glad you do.
Yeah, well, I think it's important. Like I look at, up at our Noosa office, we've got the cafe, the Salvation Army Cafe, and last year we had to do a charity auction at the brewery.
Yeah, the Boiling Pot Brewery
For the Salvos. So
Yeah.
always giving back Noosa chances. I remember that's a name. Where you guys just had a horse function.
Yeah.
Yeah, for breast cancer. Yeah,
So, I have no doubt, Nathan, like there's the opportunities there, the events and the junkets and everything, the networking, mate, I love it. I'm probably just jealous. Now, I often note you're quite measured and quiet in meetings. I'm putting it down at the moment to you being a deep thinker. So I guess we'll find out in a second. But what do you foresee as the biggest threat to real estate, either as an agent or an agency over the next decade?
Yeah. I suppose before I answer that question, in regard to the deep thinker, you're right. And I'll tell you how I got to that point. When I was younger, I was very erratic in the decision making. Made a lot of bad decisions financially and stuff like that because I was so aggressive in my approach and I just wanted to be the biggest really, really quick. So what I learnt is stop, think, and how's that decision going to impact the future moving forward in 3-6 months' time? And I like reading the room a bit. I like to, why are you saying that? Why do you think that's a good decision and stuff like that? And I think sometimes we can make quick decisions and then sometimes it has to be done. But there's other times too when you can talk it through and we don't need to make a decision today. We can have a think about it and how's it really impacting? Because when we're rushed, and you go, I just want to finish this meeting, get to the next thing, you can sometimes make erratic decisions. And that's where I like to sit there and I just want to think about it for a second and I'll get to a quick decision, but I think of all the outcomes and that. And I think that's really important to analyse all possible scenarios that could go on. So that's pretty well why I do that. I'm not a big talker in meetings because, like I said, I like to absorb everything that's going on and take it all in. So, but in regards to real estate moving forward, it's a really interesting time. As you guys know, I look into AI a fair bit because I'm intrigued by it. And why I'm intrigued by it is, I suppose it's protecting our own assets. So when you're a deep thinker, again, you're going, where's the disruption coming? Because it's a real risk that we all face. And when you're heavily invested in something, you've got to go, well, hang about. Is there a disruption coming that we're not seeing? We need to learn this and have a good understanding to see, A, can we optimize it? But 2, are we exposed in anything? Because we can become complacent in doing traditional real estate, but I think the world's moving at a rapid rate. And real estate agents these days are a lot younger. They're a young generation that are going to be up with it. And we talk about, AB, you mentioned it, as leaders and stuff like that, we have to add value. And this next generation coming through, mate, they're going to be fully tech savvy. So now we've got a problem of, well, how do we become tech savvy? So that's probably the one thing I'm trying to get my head around is, how's the world look and how do we integrate those things in our business? But also conscious of what do people's jobs look like? And that's pretty important because there will be people exposed and stuff like that. So, and decisions will have to be made, and it's scary because we do this, to help people support their families, and we've watched people, have their kids and grow up over the years, and they are family members to us. And is this going to disrupt them? So it's an interesting time, and I don't know where it's going to go, but there's a lot to look into, and it's moving at a fast pace, and that's the thing.
Which I guess leads me to a question, like obviously with the impact of technology and AI and all of that stuff, and that's got to understand it. And I'll be the first to admit I resist that stuff a bit because I feel that it probably just takes away from the genuine nature of a real connection with a person. And that's my fear with the whole AI stuff, just that it just becomes all fake stuff. And I that's sort of the anti of what we're all about. So how do you just remain focused on that connection to people, but also, you know, adopt that AI philosophy? Because it's a fine line to cross, 100%. Right?
I don't think we'll ever lose that connection, and that's really important. Mine's more around operational side.
Yep.
The AI to the operational side of the business to be more efficient. How do you create opportunities for the team embracing AI and stuff like that? So it's trying to add value. Is where can we use AI to add value to grow our business and help the individual, but we never lose the personal connection. I agree with that. AI will never replace a personal connection, and I don't ever want it to.
Yep.
So whenever I talk about AI, it's operational and trying to find a way that we can generate business for our team and embrace that to help them run their business efficiently. Because, you know, whether the traditional prospecting is a thing in 12 months or 2 months, or is it some form of AI that helps prospecting, we want to be delivering it to them, and instead of them already implementing it and then saying, well, I don't need you, because that's the risk, is there's always these third-party people that go, you don't need to be a part of it, you can do it yourself and stuff like that. So you got to have the balance of the connection, but also staying ahead of the game.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's a tough one for me because I'm only, this is completely ad lib and it's not written up on the screen here. And
we're just going with the flow.
No, it's a good discussion. It's a good discussion.
100%. I suppose the challenge, I've got two challenges because, you know, you're speaking about the highly integral nature of what you do and what we need to do as an organisation. And you're also talking about a slow and measured response. And then you are one of the great proponents of Chat GPT, written responses or Fixar, and I get the operational speed of it. But then how do you compute that from an integral level when you haven't necessarily written a response? Or do you know what? It's just a question.
I suppose, so you're talking about drafting responses through chat and stuff like that. Do you know the funny thing is, for me, mate, I'm not an educated guy. Grammar is not my strength.
Yeah.
So actually writing is really hard for me.
Yeah.
And I used to be the one, prior to Chat GPT, I used to go to the receptionist and say, can you proofread this so I don't look like an idiot?
Yeah.
So all it does is actually just correct the grammar, but I still want it written in my language.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that is what it's helped me about. Yes, there's questions that you might want answered in regards to business stuff where you go, that's just doing your homework. It helps you.
Oh, yeah.
Right. But in regards to personal emails, I like the fact that it can draft something really quick, but then doesn't mean I'm using that. Yeah. I want to put it in my own words. But it was all driven around. So prior to ChatGPT, receptionist was my ChatGPT, proofing my emails and responses, because I cannot write, and that's being.
I think you're being a bit hard on yourself there, mate. I think, like, there's school of hard knocks learning, right?
100%.
And there's, intellectual, and look, people don't care how much you know until you know how much they care, right? So the key element in that is the more you focus on the problem and not focusing on the solutions, then you don't get anywhere with it, right? So when we look at Chat GTP and the landscape of real estate and all of that stuff, like part and parcel of our responsibility as leaders is to go, all right, what's the symptom? What's the solution, right?
Yeah.
And if the solution to that can be AI or whatever it is, then that's great. We're going to use it as a tool, right?
Yeah.
It can't form the benchmark of our business, which it doesn't, right?
100%, I agree.
Because at the end of the day, we still fall back to this people-focused business, right? Because, you know, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. And at times, you know, we sit back and have a look at it and go, if every seller came to the market at exactly what their home was worth and every single buyer was prepared to pay exactly what market value was, we wouldn't have a job anymore, right? So the reality is that we have a job because of human nature.
Absolutely.
So we like to think that when we do our job that we get the best possible outcome for buyers and sellers and, you know, obviously more importantly, the seller. But we want to make sure the buyer finds the home that they really love, right?
Absolutely.
Or the tenant wants to find the place that they really love, or the landlord gets their needs met. And it's also a convenience for them to not have to worry. Like, we've all got investments. We don't manage them ourselves. We let a property manager do it because I could not be bothered doing it. And the reason being is that I let the professional people take care of their stuff, right? They've got the means and the understanding of how to do it. We stay out of it.
Yeah.
So as this business becomes more complex to a degree with, you know, everything else that you got to do as a modern day real estate person, the buck still stops with the relationship you have with your client, right?
Absolutely. And that's something I think will never be disrupted.
Oh, and I hope not.
100%.
Well, I can't. I don't. That's what I'm trying to think.
Unless it's a robot.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
never
but-
it's never
Yeah,
going
but
to be
even then,
it's never going to be disrupted. I think people are going to want the personal touch.
Yes.
Well, they're
100%,
going
I
to want
agree.
the personal touch. I mean, from a prospecting point of view, I don't know how AI disrupts, you know, the creation of a relationship. That takes, you know, for us, our market. If we look at our market, we're talking about anyone from 18 through to, you know, 100 years old that sometimes we have the pleasure of selling for. Someone adopting a relationship with a robot over a human being. Like that's not going to happen in my lifetime, I don't think. So
It's just whether we can
maybe old Brooksy over here, he might adopt a bit of technology in his life soon. But that's the reality, right? It's going to take a fair bit for AI to truly disrupt it because what we do, we sell houses, but before you can sell a house, you have to have a relationship with somebody.
100%.
And so it's the generation of that. And so I've always laughed, right, about the guys who go, you don't have to make a cold call and you don't have to door knock and you just chuck it on social media and all of this sort of stuff, and I'm just going to generate leads. Like, I laugh at those people because they might be doing that now, but it's not what they did at the start.
Yeah.
And so they're giving misinformation to the marketplace.
A lot of people also tell people what they want to hear, right?
Yeah,
so if you jump
100%.
on and listen to somebody who goes, mate, you don't need to do any of that hard stuff.
Yeah.
They'll go, yeah, and they buy into that, right? Because it's music to their ears that they don't have to do the work.
Yeah.
The short and the long of it is that you have to do the work.
Yeah.
And there's no ducking around that, right?
Yeah. I reckon my biggest frustration around technology is negotiations. I see a lot of younger people now will text or email the offer, which does my head in. Like, I do not understand how you can negotiate like that. Like, I couldn't. As we've always spoken about, you need to sit down, eyeball, and have an honest discussion with the person to understand the full situation, to sit there, make sure you're acting.
To be able to influence the purchase price.
Yeah. To make sure you're acting in the best interest of your sellers. And I just do not know how they do it. And I'm trying to get my head around it. I will never encourage that. That's the one thing in life that I'm going to stay really staunch on.
Yeah.
If you can drive down the road to sit in front of your client, then do it. I don't care how busy you tell me you are. That is the one thing that should be never negotiated on.
Good question then,
Yeah.
because I know my answer.
Right.
How far have you gone to get a contract signed?
Oh, jeez. Probably a bit over 3 hours.
You flew to Melbourne once, didn't you?
I flew to Sydney.
But you didn't even
Twice.
get it signed.
No. No.
was
Once I got it signed, the second time they said, yep, no dramas, draft everything up, we'll sign it. By the time I got back to Brisbane thinking, you beauty, I've just sold, it was like 60 blocks of land in Ipswich. They're like, yep, we'll do it. Anyway, by the time I got back to Brisbane celebrating, I spent it all at the pub in Sydney celebrating, and it never came to fruition. It was your mad mate.
Once again, it's my fault.
Well, he was your fault. That bloke, he was a
well,
shocker.
probably was my fault. Obviously, starting off on those days at Gympie, and I know we used to wind you up. You know, you used to run training sessions with your team up there in Gympie on how to dodge cow shit at appraisals.
You didn't.
Yeah. Seriously.
It's a targeted audience.
To now, you know, being a part of a big, you know, fairly, well, it's very impressive real estate business full of great minds and great souls. You know, how do you've made that big switch from, you know, I'm not being disrespectful about Gympie, but a little business there to now we've got 250 family members and, you know, it's a big change. Like, how have you got your mind around that?
Oh, it took an adjustment. It was a massive adjustment. But the want to be a part of something great was always there from day one.
Yep.
I just didn't know where it would end up. And I suppose the first decision was making a move from Gympie to Noosa.
Yeah.
Because I looked at Noosa and when I spoke to Kelly.
It's a little bit sexier than Gympie.
Yeah. And do you know the funny thing is,
Mate,
you're right.
Gympie's sexy.
Yeah, don't ever
When was the last time you were in Gympie?
A few years ago now.
Yeah.
Has it changed, does it?
Mate, rock down the main street of Gympie, mate. It's the place to be.
100%.
No, I'm not saying anything. I love Gympie. Shout out to all our Gympie followers.
Mate, my mum used to just live outside of Gympie.
Did she?
Yeah, loved it up there. Worked at she actually worked at Lifeline up there.
Oh, really?
Volunteered in the shop up there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Remember, we all went to Lifeline that time when we had your Christmas party.
Yeah.
And you
We
had to
bought all
buy
the
your
gear.
whole Christmas party outfit
Under
from a
$20.
Salvo shop or something, and you could only spend $20, including footwear and eyewear.
It was the best Christmas
You
party.
just wore your standard fare. Anyway,
Mate,
you were saying something pretty good, I think.
Oh, yeah. So you're talking about the transitions. So,
Yeah.
you know, being in Gympie, got into a bit of trouble, knew I had to get, you know, pivot.
Yeah.
At Gympie, being in low average sale price, it's very challenging. Same cost as anywhere else, but so I knew Noosa was an opportunity. I looked at Noosa. It's funny, like I say to people, Noosa to me is like climbing Mount Everest. It's probably one of the toughest markets in real estate to break into. There's a lot of big independents. So I thought if I'm ever going to do something great, there's an opportunity.
Here's the environment to do it.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, growing up in Gympie doing real estate is very different to how you do real estate in Noosa. The fundamentals are the same, but the clientele is clearly different. So I had to take that leap of faith.
You're obviously the greatest thing to come out of Gympie. What's the most goat-worthy advice you've ever been given, or least? It has to be like least goat-worthy. Like it's.
I know the least.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it.
Oh,
what
was that?
No, it was. I remember
Something Sam said?
No. I remember my accountant. Well, I sacked him not long after he gave me this advice. Because when I took over the Gympie business, there's only like 15 rentals, and by that stage, when I met him, we were up to about 40. And he said, "Mate, you're so heavily focused on sales, you don't need a property management business."
Ooh.
He goes, "They're no good. Just sell it and focus on your sales." I walked away clearly knowing that that's shit advice. And if I'd taken that advice on, I wouldn't have sold that business for a 7-figure amount and probably wouldn't be where I am today.
Mate, how about that rent roll we negotiated and purchased for you back in the day? That was gold, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had some good negotiations and that, but
Mate,
we
the
won't
best
took.
rent roll purchase ever.
Yeah, it was quite good. Quite
You
good.
did it, did you?
Quite good. So, but no, that was the worst advice I've ever had.
Right. And the best?
I made this I've had heaps of good advice, Sam. But at the end of the day, dream big, possibilities are endless, and just believe in yourself.
I like it. Righto.
Good
That's
advice.
Junket Boy, Nathan,
Go,
Spudley, Wudley, Go, Bang, Bang, Gadget Arms, O'Neill. A delight to have
Loves
on
wearing
under the
lycra.
microscope. He loves Lycra.
Oh,
Yeah,
We'll
we'll put up some reels so they know what we're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. But, mate,
good.
thanks
Now
for
that I
being
can fit in Lycra, I bet you won't do it anymore.
Yeah, no, we'll do it again. Mate, well done. Congratulations on all your success. You are the GOAT today.
Thanks, boys.
Thanks so much for joining us for another episode of One Goat and the Property Guys. Remember, make sure you vote for if they were a goat or a spud during the last episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe to YouTube and at Apple Podcasts so that we can keep creating great goat-worthy memories.